Hello, welcome to the Relish Lifestyle podcast. We're actually doing one from Greece. We are here and we've been doing our Greek Odyssey. So we started in the north. We landed in Thessaloniki, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
And we have made our way through, our first stop. Well, we'll give you an overview of what we've done. So our first stop was actually...
Charlie, should we just start to say by saying yes?
Yes. Kalismera.
Not that we've learnt that much Greek.
That's the extent of it.
It's all been Greek to us anyway.
So we've just, we started in Thessaloniki and we picked up our car and we drove down past Mount Olympus, which was very impressive from the roadside. And then our first stop was in Kamena Valora and we stayed there for one night, but we had an amazing meal, interesting meal, but we had a meal by the beach. Interesting because I ordered the lamb, which was supposedly a special, but it was actually rolled lamb with lamb offal inside it, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I mean, we both tried something because the next stop was on, where was our next stop, Charlie? Nafplio, thank you. God, we've done so much that it just felt, anyway, Nafplio, and I decided to try a traditional dish in a restaurant we went to, which was basically baked tuna and chickpeas. With like oranges. Oranges grow really abundantly here, and it was like with an orange foam, which sounded, anyway, it said it was a traditional dish. What I hadn't really appreciated was it was seriously cooked tuna, and it felt like I had half a tuna and about 16 tins of chickpeas. I mean, it was worth a try. It was just a lot of it.
Yeah, mine was equally tricky. So obviously, as Mummy said, we went from Kamena Valora to Nafplio. We were in Nafplio for 2 days and we had it's just a great place to be. It's a lovely town on the sea. We had drinks, overlooking the bay, watching the sunset. It's definitely, for me, I mean, I've been there once before, so it was your first time. It's definitely one of my top places I think I've ever visited.
Oh, yeah, it was really great. And the other thing is, I think this journey, Charlie, for both of us, one of the big things is, we kind of knew Greece was mountainous, but it's so mountainous.
Yeah.
It's and reading is 80%. And it is absolutely spectacular. I think a lot of people go to the islands, and one of the reasons I know, Charlie, you wanted to do our Greek Odyssey, this road trip, was to really appreciate mainland Greece.
Well, I think it's sort of overlooked.
And we've still only done a bit of it.
I think it's overlooked. I think everyone flies, like I think I said previously on a podcast, to Kefalonia or Kos or Rhodes or Crete. But I think more and more people are obviously starting to see the beauty of mainland Greece. And obviously some of our drives have been over said mountains.
Yeah.
Some of them have been through these amazing tunnels that they've managed to bore through on the motorway. But what height did we reach at one point?
We actually reached just under 1,000 feet. Meters. I do apologise. It was just under 1,000 meters, which we climbed, and that was leaving Nafplio on our way to Peloponnese, which was the third stop of our trip, which was amazing. And I know Charlie will talk about this because it was somewhere on his bucket list, wasn't it, that you've been looking at going for a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was an amazing drive down. So go on, Charlie, talk about Peloponnese. Why was it on your bucket list?
Because of, predominantly Samos Beach, which we have done a video on TikTok and Instagram. As I've said before, it's Relish Lifestyle on both TikTok and Instagram. So please follow us on there and DM us any questions. But I saw the picture of this beach and it is an amazing piece of nature where you've got two parts of the sea and then it's separated by a very small strip of sand in the middle that joins the two bits of the island together, and it is just stunning. So I've always wanted to go there, but I think actually the getting there, you're always a bit nervous about what it's going to be like, the drive, the ferry, all that kind of stuff. And I knew obviously we'd have to get a ferry, but I wasn't expecting what we ended up doing, which was this amazing, we drove up onto sort of a sandy car park.
Yeah.
A concrete jetty.
Yeah.
3 cars in front of us. And we just sort of drove onto this ferry.
It's really weird because Charlie and I both originate from the Isle of Wight. And so we have spent our lifetimes, catching ferries. But when you drive up to a ferry like that and you are just driving and driving and driving, and all the roads, I have to say, when you look on Google Maps, are like a string of spaghetti that you've just dropped after you've cooked it.
Yeah.
I mean, just quite extraordinary switchbacks. Anyway, we'd come down off the mountains, a long drive through the lowlands. And we just kept going and going and going, and these very small roads, tiny villages. And we just didn't know what to expect. There was not a lot of traffic, but we kind of joked, were we going to get to the ferry and there was going to be like a huge queue or whatever. And as Charlie's just
said, we
said,
didn't have any preconceived.
No. As Charlie says, you drive up and it's this kind of ferry. It's roll on, roll off. Yes, they've got a kind of timetable, but there were literally 3 or 4 cars that got on, and it was absolutely spectacular. If we likened it to anything on the Isle of Wight, it'd be like the chain ferry between East Cowes and West Cowes, but on a slightly bigger scale. But it's just fantastic. And you just, the Greeks are just so laid back. You just drive on, they point, you get your ticket, off you go. And we were literally on it for 9 minutes or something, 10 minutes.
I think we went up on deck, had a look at the view, and obviously you can watch, the small island of Peloponnese. And when I say small, I mean small. I think the population is something like 2,000 people. It's tiny.
Yeah, really tiny.
And we drove round it in less than sort of 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, really small.
But yes, the ferry was brilliant, and we stayed there for 2 nights, and it was very relaxed, very bohemian. And just, it was a bucket list place. And we went to that beach that I wanted to go to. And it lived up to every expectation and exceeded it for me.
And extraordinary. I mean, Greece, has many places for chapels and small churches and things. But this one has one that's literally on the beach. It's a little promontory. So you come just outside the harbour and you walk to it across a little sort of bridge thing. Even I say bridge. And it's there on the beach with the water lapping around your feet. I mean, it's just stunning. And we were so lucky as well, because our great apartment, which was bohemian, and we did have an apartment, but you came down some steps and you were probably 50 yards, if that, from the sea. So we were so lucky.
We arrived, parked the car, met by a really friendly, lovely lady, the owner, dumped our bags, got into our swimming costumes, and yes, we were in the sea in a couple of minutes. And it was beautiful. So obviously we did that, and we were there for, as I said, 2 nights. Beautiful island. Would highly recommend going. I'd love to go back.
But all I would say is it's a trek, so you do have to plan it, so be prepared.
Well, I think the big thing for me is be prepared for the roads. Greece doesn't have a huge amount of motorway network compared to other countries in Europe. So you are, once you leave Nafplio, come off for Nafplio, and you head down that first Peloponnese peninsula to Elefalonosis, most of that drive is on regular single carriageway roads. It's not fast. And you wind your way obviously through the mountains, the hills, ups and downs. You go through small towns, which are quite tricky to navigate or negotiate even, because the way the parking is and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a bit of a labour of love, but it's certainly worth it if you're happy to do their journey.
I think one of the key things, and I know this is really crazy when we have to talk about this, is that what we're going to really miss is wherever you go, be it shopping in a little market or supermarket or just parking anywhere on a beach, you just pull up and you park. There are no parking meters. No one's telling you how to park.
Lines,
there's no
really.
bays, no nothing. It's just so amazing. And you know what? It works, doesn't it,
seems
Charlie?
to work. It seems to work. And obviously that brings us on to our next bit. So we left Elefalonosis, had that amazing ferry journey again, wound our way back up through towns like Scala, and then we headed down to the middle of the Peloponnese, which is the Mani Peninsula, which is where we are sat right now. I'm looking at the mountains of the Mani Peninsula as we speak. And that again was an amazing journey, very twisty turny switchback roads. We stopped at Gytherio, I think we pronounced it, quite a Venetian town, not dissimilar to Nafplio, slightly smaller, nice harbour, and the famous Gytherio shipwreck, which has been there since 1981 and no one has claimed it, so it has stayed there.
It looks a bit like the Black Pearl.
Yeah, sort of slightly A bit more modern, but yeah.
For those Pirate Caribbean fans.
Pirates of Greece. And so we then obviously wound our way from Cytherea to where we are now, which is about 15 minutes south of a town/village called Cardamilli. And we're here, we're very, very lucky. We're in a villa that sort of, I don't know, would you say maybe quarter of a mile from the sea up slightly. So we've got wonderful views of the third peninsula of the Peloponnese in the background. And I'm just turning around now and I can see the sun is about to touch the top of the mountains in the third part of the Peloponnese. So we've been very fortunate to watch sunsets most evenings with a glass of local Peloponnese wine, which I have to say on the whole,
it's been good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Obviously one thing to bear in mind is if you are coming to Greece, the supermarkets, as we've sort of touched on already, are relatively small. The wine selection is not huge. It's not what we would expect back home, but what you do get is good quality local wine at incredibly good prices. And it's been good, hasn't it? So
I think that's the thing. I mean, it's still here. Everything is very local. And we even have up here where we are at the moment, we have a man that comes round, with a van. And he is a bit like an ice cream van, but it's not an ice cream van. But what he does is he sort of makes a sound and shouts through a tannoy.
Yeah.
And people, that's how they shop. Because, Charlie and I did a little bit of, sightseeing today, and we went to a great olive grove / factory called the Manny. Is it Manny?
Manny Organic.
Manny Organic, set up by an Austrian family or couple in the early 90s. Absolutely spectacular. But what you realise is you go up and up and up into these hills, these mountains, and there are small villages, cluster of houses. Well, they're not all walking down or driving goodness knows how long, because as you've said, Charlie, everywhere it might go, oh, it's only X amount of kilometres. Oh, it's going to take me 35 minutes. And that is because, as I've said, these roads are like spaghetti.
I think the other thing we've certainly for me is it's not flat beaches type Greece that you may be used to. It is incredibly mountainous. I mean, we are looking the other way from the sunset. I'm looking at some of the highest points in the Manny Peninsula behind us.
Yeah.
And they are incredibly tall. Sometimes they even get snow on certain parts. They are very, very tall. And we have seen some amazing drives. Obviously, be prepared. Like we've said, the roads are very narrow, but, spectacular, and it's worth the effort. We've sort of totally had our,
in some ways, we
can't describe it.
It's all awe-inspiring because you are amongst it. You're not just driving at, 80 kilometres or 90 kilometres an hour, whizzing past it. I mean, we did a bit, but, it's kind of like you are absolutely amongst it. And that is what is just incredible. And we're very lucky here because what with the mountains and the sea, you get incredible sunsets, but actually you get this rising of the sun, the dawn, which I would like to say that Charlie hasn't quite seen yet, but he will do tomorrow
morning. And shall we say why tomorrow I might see it?
Oh yeah, so tomorrow I'm very excited because as my birthday present, even though that was in the summer, but my birthday present is we're doing a boat trip tomorrow. So Charlie's organised a wonderful boat and we're going out all day.
What you don't know is you're driving. Did you know?
Oh, yes. Oh, gosh. I thought I was just being crew. That's what I normally am.
College fatigue.
We are off to find lots of little bays that some of them you can't get to unless you are on a boat, but we're just going to be bobbing about. And I can see a boat now. Even in the sunset, there's a little boat bobbing. There's a couple actually. And they're down there, but yeah, I mean, it's been extraordinary. But sorry, Charlie, should we just touch a little bit more on food?
That's what I was just about to say.
We did buy some of the Kalamata olives, didn't we, from Manny today, and a tapenade as well. And we did taste the olive oil. And very unfortunately, of course, due to luggage restrictions and everything, we cannot bring the olive oil back. But they do now sell it off their website, and they do I think they are going to distribute through the UK, but it was absolutely beautiful, so fresh. And
the factory was just so smart, clean.
You can walk around it, and you can see what they're doing. There's viewing areas.
We could walk across the sort of glass viewing area onto this amazing terrace.
Yeah.
Again, beautifully kept, stunning. Did you want to, we've actually got some of the olives here. Did you want to try them?
Oh yeah, let's go now.
Yeah. So we're actually, so we've got the jar here. So they might be odd night. There you go.
There you go. Oh, look at those.
So we've got some Greek olives from Kalamata, au naturel.
They're all organic. This company, they are absolutely delicious. So it's Manny.
But everything's organic. They do olive oils, olives. This is obviously a jar of olives. And yeah, it was an absolutely superb place. But again, the drive up there is part of it, like the journey. I think one thing I've realised from a Greek Odyssey is it is an odyssey. A lot of what we've done is also about the journey. It's not just about getting there. Also, just touching on food, obviously, what day are we today? Monday. So on Saturday, we went to the Kalamata market.
So Kalamata, of course, many of you will know Kalamata is synonymous with olives, as a lot of Greece is, but particularly Kalamata. And it has other great history as well. But so we drove, it was actually not that far, but it did still take us about an hour, over an hour. And we got there, and I have to say, it's the most incredible market we have ever been to. And we've been to a few in our time. This was literally on twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. And we probably got there about 11, and it was full on. And again, a car park, it's all free. But my goodness, you park anywhere you can find a tiny bit of space. Anyway, we did, and we went in. And I have to say, it was kind of, I think Charlie and I our senses were completely overwhelmed.
I've never seen so much produce. Like, it was incredible. And I've worked in the food industry, but there were trestle tables chocked full of onions, potatoes, pomegranates, herbs, fresh herbs.
Garlic.
And then what's amazing is
aubergines. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
And the outside element is fresh produce predominantly, and kind of the hallway that takes you from one end to the other of the big hall. But then there's got sections. So one section is then just the butchery. So you have sort of 6 or 7 butchers. And then another section would be the same, but ditto for fishmongers. And it was just incredible. And we were very fortunate that we found a lady that was selling pretty much everything that we needed to bring together our Kleftico that we had planned.
Yes.
And then we took a brave pill and we went to a butcher's and said, tried to translate what lamb was in Greek with a Google
and
Translate.
They were incredibly helpful. And the one thing they did take out of the window when we said lamb was a half butchered lamb that still had its head on. So I'm sorry for those of you who are squeamish. We initially weren't sure if it was goat, but he took it down. And the first thing he did, of course, was remove the head. And then we got the shoulder. And we like its whole for a Kleftico. But it was absolutely incredible. Very overwhelming. We came back with bags of stuff, and so exciting. I mean, do again check out our website. We put loads of pictures up about that.
Yeah. And we did a video from the market, and then obviously from that we made the Kleftico, which, as we've just talked about, is the shoulder of lamb. You put sort of a base of chopped up potatoes, try and keep the skin on, holds their shape much better. We actually put some carrot in there just because we fancy a bit of extra veg. And again, like we've talked about before, nothing's original. So even if you try and Google a Kleftico recipe or even have it here, each bit of the Peloponnese, each island, each recipe book has a different version. So I'm not a huge fan, as we know, of tomato. So I put red pepper in. We put the carrot in because we're British. I'm not quite sure. Some vegetables. And then we had the potato, and then we just had some fresh green veg with it. But all from the market, onion, garlic, the rest of it, lemon. And that went in the oven for 5 to 6 hours. And obviously I cooked it, so I can't say how good it was, but I think it was delicious.
No, it was absolutely brilliant. And I'd just like to go back to the market. I just want to say that this kind of market is where you go and you see people carrying 14 kilos of potatoes, and it's cost them €3.
Yeah. But also,
you don't buy one chili, you buy a bunch of beautiful chilies, and they cost you, if that, they don't even cost you €1.
Bunches of mint were 70 cents.
It's just extraordinary, and it is all fresh. It's all, and you get local farmers, local landowners, really small holding, who come and sell their wares.
It felt like anyone that had, a sizable plot of land could get a stand there and sell their wares. Also,
it's just like the abundance of walnuts. There were amazing amounts of walnuts, chestnuts, interestingly, lots and lots of chestnuts. it was just extraordinary.
It was amazing.
I just think today is just such a shame, actually, Charlie. We don't have markets.
Well, we talked,
like that.
we said that.
I think we really missed that, because as a child, I remember there being markets like that, and you actually bought livestock. They were auctioned, and you also bought food and stuff. And we missed that. I think in Britain we should have this kind of market. It would be great for the farmers.
It would. Brilliant.
Anyway.
Well, anyone that had a bit of land could. Yeah. That's the amazing thing.
Well, I'm still munching on these olives. They are
just very Moorish, I have to be honest. So just sort of a bit of background. Obviously, we've mentioned that we're doing our boat journey, boat part of our Odyssey tomorrow, which will be amazing, hopefully. And then from here, we're actually heading back up the Peloponnese towards back towards Thessaloniki, which is obviously where we're flying out of on Saturday. But we're going via a monastery. It's near a town called Kalabaka. I can't pronounce the word, but it's like Meteoria is the name of the monastery. But it's a very famous monastery. It was actually featured in the Bond film For Your Eyes Only, with Roger Moore scaling it at the end with Carol Bouquet.
That's why you love it so much, Charlie.
Anyway, so we are going to go up there and visit it, but we have a different part of the landscape. We'd definitely be in it's literally the middle of mainland Greece. So it'll be a very different, hopefully, experience to what we've had already, but equally as epic. And then from there, we take the short drive back up to Thessaloniki, where we actually abandon the car and we spend 2 days in the city of Thessaloniki, which apparently is the foodie capital of Greece. So,
yeah, and it's the second largest capital, or city, of Greece. And I think it's supposed to be quite a melting pot of cultures and food and everything. So
flavours.
It'd be great. We can savour some of those. But the food, is simple here. We love to cook ourselves. So we have eaten out and we have cooked quite a lot ourselves. But it's amazing what you suddenly realise you can do without a larder full of everything. I think that's what I've realised. A few great herbs. Okay, salt and pepper, your seasoning, good garlic, olive oil, plenty of olive oil. And then you just literally use that and you create things from salads to main courses. Well, main dishes, rather.
In our journey, we've eaten out a couple of times. We've talked about some of those experiences, and it's everything from slow cooked veal to, we also had great salads, big feta salads, lots of grilled meat. Yeah. Obviously octopus is a big thing here. We actually even saw some drying in the sun, in Githario. So it definitely is a lot to go for. But more importantly, have you got any favourite bits so far? I know we're actually only just halfway through. Have you got a memory, or are you going to wait till?
Oh gosh, right. Charlie's right.
Phone that one in.
Charlie's right. Put me on the spot. I think one of the main things for me is just, the whole thing actually. I think it's the country itself, the amazing views. I mean, I know we've touched on it, and it's really hard to explain these sort of things when you're just talking about them, but the views we've had and the drives we've had through the mountains has been absolutely extraordinary, and it has blown me away. And I think then if there was probably one event so far, it was going to the Kalamata market, which I know rendered me almost speechless, which is very unusual because it was just so what you want a market to be, but it was overwhelming, and it did take us. We had to walk through the market, and we kind of had to gather ourselves because there's nothing there that's telling you or signposting you virtually. It's all in Greek. It was virtually all Greek people. And we just had to work out, what we kind of knew what we wanted, but just kind of get our bearings. And it's a bit like being in a sweetie shop. We've got all this amazing food and it's all around you. And it's like, well, where do you go to choose it? The choice. I mean, I would have loved to be there and to be able to shop there on a regular basis. It'd be amazing. So anyway, I'm sorry because I know there's going to be really great high points to come. So, and what about you?
Yes, Kalamata Market is definitely up there. I do think because it was a bucket list thing for me, Elefanosis.
Oh, Elefanosis, yeah.
I do think the whole, the ferry and the beach for me, I was kind of half expecting the beach to be absolutely rammed and overwhelmed. And actually we got there and there was only sort of half a dozen other people on the whole beach. So I think for me, that was a big thing. But a bit like you, I think Greece as a country and as people have just been amazing, very friendly. The scenery is awe-inspiring and epic wherever we seem to have been. And we seem to see amazing views every time we leave the house. So I think that's amazing. And actually for me, I know we've touched on it in previous podcasts, but what we're reading, I've actually just finished it. Victoria Hislop's The Figurine, which is obviously all about Greece, predominantly based in Athens, but they do travel. Parts of the story are based in the Peloponnese. So it was really lovely to read that. And you're reading.
And I'm reading because Charlie very cleverly bought me this to bring on holiday. It was Mythos by Stephen Fry. And it's been absolutely brilliant. And hopefully I'm going to go on, I've got absolutely engrossed in it. Yeah. How much I remember, I don't know. But it is really putting the whole Greek history and, their stories into perspective. And it's just been lovely to be in the country while I'm reading it. There's just one thing, Charlie, I'm going to say is a low point, actually. And I know other people have highlighted this on social media, but what's really unfortunate, I think, for us is so much of Greece is the surrounding countryside you see is litter. And in rubbish. So you'll go along and it's plastic bottles and plastic bags, mainly plastic bottles. And yet even when we went to the market, they're just giving out endless plastic bags. And we go everywhere we go now around the world. We go with our own bags.
We've got our Relish Lifestyle.
Yes, we've got our Relish Lifestyle, but we always reuse and we never go. And that is the only thing, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It's really sad. I think the sad thing is it's perpetuated by a bit of background. Actually, a couple of the places we've been to, you can wash and bathe and do your laundry in the tap water, but you can't drink it. So you are then obviously buying lots of bottles of plastic water to fill up kettles, coffee makers, all that kind of stuff. So yes, it is a shame, but it hasn't tarnished what has been on the whole a brilliant experience.
No. But it's
it's just something to flag. We wouldn't stand for it really in our
country. You're going along these mountain roads and you just see it on the verge, or you stop at a site
and it's just
and people it's just rubbish.
I know,
but I know they don't. I think Greece don't really have a great track record in terms of recycling and stuff. But anyway, there's just one thing. But other than that,
but on the whole, I mean,
country.
One of the things for me is obviously like being able to swim in the Argolic Gulf, in the Mycenaean Gulf, in the Mani Peninsula, in the Mediterranean, all of different coves. And tomorrow we'll do even more of that. So we're very much looking forward to it. We would normally ask each other what we're drinking, but we've just got the local
or what supper we're going to cook. But as we're cooking the same supper and eating,
we're actually sort of doing a bit of using up leftover supper.
We're sort of hoovering up. We've done lots of barbecues, and so we've done Slovakia, we've done the kleftiko, we've had Greek salad,
chicken kebabs,
all that kind of stuff. And because we're out on the boat tomorrow, and then the day after we do head off on our next part of our journey. So, but there will be hummus definitely, because I know, olives. There will be pita breads. I mean, the whole thing. And one thing I'd just like to touch on is they don't have sandwiches here. They have gyros. And we've had a couple, but they are incredible things. They are these wonderful soft pitas that they stuff with, some sort of protein, like your chicken or whatever. Pork, and then you'll have salad, and in some they'll stick some chips in there.
And the tzatziki.
I mean, they are just incredible, and you see people eating those. That's what they eat.
It's their...
You don't see a sandwich like we know.
No, but it's their street food.
It is their street food.
And it is an incredible thing.
Yeah.
And we have had a couple. There is just something about gyros that sometimes just hits the spot. But any questions, please DM us, as I've said, TikTok, Instagram, at Relish Lifestyle, hashtag Relish Lifestyle, and actually hashtag Relish Lifestyle on tour, is what I'm doing as a handle for, this journey. But we will keep you posted. We'll obviously try and crack on with our next podcast when we're back, which is next week.
And do share any of your Greek experiences or any other food experiences.
Or places in Greece to go.
Yeah, we would love to hear from you, and we'd love to share them as well. So,
So we will get that local Peloponnese wine open, we'll have some more olives.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, keep relishing life.
Yeah.